Hi, I'm Jennifer Monahan at Spirit Evolution. You can find us at spiritevolution.co. And today I wanted to talk about what it means to live a courageously authentic life, or more specifically, the 6 steps that every person that I've worked with, and myself included, needed to take in order to truly know who they are, what they wanted from their lives, and then have the courage to move forward to create the life that they want while overcoming any fears that may have come up. So, the first step is to identify your personas. And we all have personas. They're things that we usually take on when we're younger as a child to help us navigate. And often they're how we're known to our family and friends. So it may be that we are the class clown or the caretaker or the smart one or the pretty one or fill in the blank, right? They're a role that we're assigned that we take on and then have that role define who we are as we go forward. And there's nothing wrong with personas. I mean, they can be very helpful, especially when we're younger, because we're trying to navigate a world that we don't quite understand and that we don't know the rules to. So if we have the persona as being the class clown or the jokester, we know that we can crack jokes and make people happy. Or if we have the persona of caretaker, we know that we tend to take on a responsibility of caring for others in every situation that we come forward. So there's many gifts that can come from a persona. We can learn how to interact with other people. We can learn how to have empathy for other people, or the value of humor, or the list can go on and on. But at some point, a persona may actually hold us back because it confines who we are. It does not allow us to fully express everything that we are, and instead we're kept in a box of being the class clown or the caretaker or whatever it is. So identifying those personas and then releasing them or reframing them so that they give you the flexibility and you have the internal permission to move forward in being an entire person instead of just the persona that you've had defined for you from childhood. So, step one, identify and then release personas. Tied to step one is step two, which is identify and release limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs are things that we've heard from our society, from our family, from our religion, from our culture, from our friends, and also they can be things that we tell ourselves, but they're things that we take as truth that maybe are not truth. And I'll share two big ones in our society here in the United States. One is boys don't cry. There's a limiting belief because, it's everybody's right to cry. And when times are tough or if we've lost a loved one, crying is a natural thing for us to do. But this belief, this limiting belief of boys don't cry, can cause a number of men to hold their emotions inside of them and therefore not have the opportunity to express themselves the way that they need to and want to. The corollary to that is, good girls are quiet and nice. And sure, quietness and niceness are wonderful attributes, but good girls can also be loud and athletic and demanding and assertive and leaders and all these other things, right? So again, a limiting belief is something that kind of locks us into a mindset that limits us or prevents us from seeing all the opportunities that lay in front of us. At a personal level, I know a number of my clients have come forward with beliefs that are much more damaging even than the two I just shared. Things such as, I am not worthy of anything good that comes into my life, or I am not lovable, or I am not wanted, or, I don't deserve this. So these kind of beliefs, as you can see, can really prevent you from moving forward for the life that you want. So identifying and then working to release limiting beliefs is what I'll call step two. And these steps don't have to be done in order, but just for purposes of being able to share the steps. Step two is release limiting beliefs. Step three, which I think is one of the fun ones, is to identify your gifts and your talents and your skills. Each one of us comes to this planet and we have a unique set of gifts, talents, and skills. You may have two people, for example, who have a talent for music, and but their skills and their their way that they use their music could very much differ between the two of them. So what are your gifts? What are your talents? What are your skills? This requires you to fully step into them and take responsibility for them and own them. And if we go back to looking at limiting beliefs, if we have a limiting belief that we aren't worthy, for example, we may not even recognize that we have some gifts and talents and skills. Step 4 is a close cousin to step 3, and that is identifying what your life purpose is. And we hear a lot of talk these days about what is my life purpose? Why am I here? Your life purpose can be something very broad. And when I work with clients and do my shamanic work with them, often the purpose that comes back when I ask is something along the lines of, collaborator. Your purpose is to collaborate or to teach or to heal or to protect. Whatever it is, you can see how that life purpose can be lived in many different ways. And that's where step 5 comes into play, which is follow your heart. Connect into your heart. What are you passionate about? What is it that you get excited about and could see yourself spending hours and hours doing and losing all track of time? Going back to, the example about the person who has a talent for music. Let's say somebody has a talent for music and their life purpose is to teach or educate. And they have a passion when they look at what their heart wants. They have a passion for the environment. You could see how bringing those 3 things together can all of a sudden start to define the life that maybe you want to live. So maybe you want to be somebody who creates music videos that help teach people about protecting the environment, as an example. Once you've defined your gifts and your talents, your life purpose, and what your heart wants for your life, and it goes beyond just even what do I want to do as my work or as my leisure activity, and can extend to where do I want to live or how do I want to live and who do I want around me as I do that. Once you've defined all of that, then step 6 is really taking action. And taking action obviously is where the rubber hits the road, right? You start planning, okay, here are the steps I'm going to take. You may not know all of the steps, but you might have a good idea of here's one step that I can take towards creating those music videos about saving the environment. You may not know what steps 6, 7, 8, or 9 are, but if you know what your first few are, you can get started. And that's where our good old friend fear comes into play. And so as part of step 6, where it's taking action and overcoming fear. Because fear has a way of holding us back and preventing us from actually living our life purpose. Now, fear is a good thing, right? We want to be afraid of that tiger that's running down the street towards us because, the tiger could kill and eat us. But fear doesn't know how to distinguish between a real, authentic, true situation that should be feared, such as tiger running down the street, versus a situation that really doesn't need to be feared, such as creating a music video or taking on that part-time job that's very different from what you've ever done. And yet fear can come up in these situations and actually paralyze us and cause us not to take any steps in that direction. And I'll talk more about fear in a different video, but just wanted today to share with you the 6 steps that everyone needs to do in order to live authentically. And as a reminder, they are: identify and release personas, identify and release limiting beliefs, define what your gifts, your skills, and your talents are, define what your life purpose is, connect to your heart to understand what your passions are and what your heart really wants for your life, and then take action while overcoming fears. If you want to learn more about any of these, check out my website, spiritevolution.co, and you'll see there's a free report there you can download that gives more information about these 6 steps and actually has some questions to help you work through them. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a great day.